Hey everyone, this is Angela Davis L, and I am creating this video exclusively for the Patreon members of 48 Laws 757. So I want to talk to you today about self-empowerment and why it's important, why we need it, and how we can become more self-empowered. But before I do that, I want to just say that I hope this message reaches you in good health, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I hope that your heart and your mind is open in order to receive this message, maybe learn from it, and possibly share it with a family member or friend, and share this page as well, this Patreon page, with your family and friends. So in self-empowerment, why is it important? So self-empowerment is important, and it's going to play a pivotal role in creating change in our communities, because it literally, self-empowerment is an act of revolution. It's an act of resistance. And I say that because we are constantly fed, as a people, we are constantly fed images of ourselves that are disempowering, that that undermine our existence here, and not just in this nation but across the world. And it's going to be very important as we move forward, and as we're conquering and combating this psychological warfare that has been played out for the last 400 years, more than that, but for at least the last 400 years. And while we're conquering that psychological warfare, it's going to be important that we're self-empowered and that we have confidence in who we are on a personal level, but also on a national level as a people. So I want to leave you today with 3 keys, really simple keys that you can start doing if you're not already doing them, to become more personally empowered, so that you can empower our brothers and sisters, and that you can create change and help create change in our communities through whatever avenue you choose, whether that's through your music, through teaching, through mothering, through fathering, through creativity, art, research, history. However you feel like you need to serve our community, it's going to be important that you do it in a way that not only do you empower other people, but you're empowered yourself, and that you have confidence in what you're teaching, that you have confidence in what you're doing. Even just walking down the street, having confidence as a Black man or a Black woman, and understanding your importance and the power that you carry, the power that you manifest in this world. So, self-empowerment, 3 keys. The first key I want to talk about is healing our bodies. And this is going to be very important because not only are we in a psychological war, but it's also a physical war. I don't know if some of you have done research about the way we eat or what's being put in our foods. I know GMOs is a hot topic right now. Some of us may have seen What the Health or other documentaries on Netflix and all that. But it's going to be really important that we start governing our bodies. So self-governance is self-empowerment. And when I say governing our bodies, I mean paying attention to what we put in our bodies, paying attention to how we eat, what we drink, what we smoke, how we exercise. All of those things are going to be important. And healing our bodies is important because this is how we experience life in this dimension. And we're no good to our brothers and sisters if we're sick, if we are bedridden, and we can't run, or we can't walk, or we can't teach. These things, we cannot create change if we ourselves on a physical level are not up to it and are not healthy. And somebody that I follow a lot of their work, Dr. Sebi, was very big on personal empowerment through health. And if you don't know who that is, look it up. But definitely start doing research on how we as Black people need to be treating our bodies, and need to be eating, drinking, and exercising in order to be at our top physical peak. I know that's a hard one for me. I've been trying to work out, and I'm slowly getting into it. Also, for Black women, it's going to be important that we learn self-defense, that we learn how to have control over our own body, over our own body weight, for protection. So governing our bodies, that's the first key. The second key is freeing our minds. And when I say freeing our minds, I'm not just speaking about having the right to believe what we want to believe. I'm talking about shifting our mental paradigms to understand that most of what we've been taught, and if you're already on this page, you probably know this, but most of what we've been taught about ourselves as a people are lies, and it's not true. So in freeing our minds, it's going to require that we become critical thinkers. We really have to think critically about the things that we've been taught, the things that we read, the things that we see on television, in the media. All of these things play out and serve an agenda. And in order for us to create change in our communities, we have to not only be aware of what that agenda is, but how it's playing out. So when we are fed certain things in media or in the movies or on television, it's going to be important that we can look at that through a critical lens and kind of see why, understand the why, not just the what, but understand the why of why things are being presented to us the way they are, and then being able to think critically about it and reject those things that don't serve us as a people. Freeing our minds also includes understanding and relearning our history from our point of view, learning our history from an authentic and organic space. And if you're on this Patreon page, I know that, if you're anything like me, you love the work that he's doing, and really just learning about history. I'm learning about history and things that I never knew about my ancestors, and continue that, but also start studying for yourself. Start reworking the way those mental paradigms create your actions. All of what we do is based on what we believe about ourselves and about our world. And if you're doing and engaging in disempowering things and undermining yourself, it's mostly because that's the way you think about yourself. That's what you believe about yourself. That's what you believe about your people. So it's going to be important to free your mind, become a critical thinker, and really shift your paradigm and your outlook on who you are as a person, and as a Black person. And the last thing is tending to our spirits. And this is something that's very near and dear to my heart. I've been going through my own spiritual transformation for about 3 years now. And I can truly say it has changed everything about my life. It's changed, I talked about the other two keys, but really when you become spiritually aligned, and I'm not talking about religion. It's fine if you're a religious person. That's cool. But I'm talking about relationship with the spirit inside. And when you become spiritually aligned with yourself and with your higher power, it shifts your understanding of the other two. So when I became spiritually aligned, it changed the way I wanted to eat. It changed what I craved, and the things that I wanted to put in my body. It changed, my mental paradigm. It changed what I watched. It changed what I listened to. Now I can think critically about the things that are being introduced to me and not just follow like sheep. Like I'm not out here sleep. I guess that's a woke, I'm woke. But just not being a sheep and following things that may not necessarily serve me, that may not feel good, but are being pushed, in the media or whatever. So tending to your spirit is going to be very important. And if you are looking and don't understand the importance of a spiritual connection or what that looks like for you, let me know, because like I said, this is something that I am going to be teaching on. This is something that I find very, very, it's critical. It is, we are spirits, that's what we are in physical shells. So when we tend to our spirits, we're tending to every part of us. And And that is going to be the way in which we create change in those other two categories of mind and body. So, three keys, again, before I end this video, three keys. One, healing our bodies, paying attention to what we put in our bodies, paying attention to what we do with our bodies, and that even includes sex, and on an energetic level, what energy we allow into our space, into our bodies. And number two, freeing our minds, and that's going to it requires us to become critical thinkers, to become learners, to become students, and to question, to call to question things that we don't understand or things that don't sit with us, and not being afraid of thinking outside of the box or getting rid of the box altogether. And then number three is tending to our spirits, and that's going to require us to understand who we are on a spiritual level, understand who or what our higher power is, and that's going to be personal for each and every one of us, and really finding a spiritual practice that works for us. So if you wanted more information about any of these subjects or anything that I'm talking about in this video, hit me up. My Instagram is Arterologist. I'm sure you can find it from 48 Laws. You can find it from his page. So hit me up. I love to talk to people. I love to work with people because I understand that the only way we're going to create change is if all of us get on one accord and all of us become empowered as a people, and then making those connections and those networks with my brothers and sisters are is going to be very important to create change in our community. So yeah, hit me up, and I hope that you again learn something from this message. Share it, share with your family members and friends, and encourage them to become Patreon members as well. All right, have a good night.